The very latest, we call it the Hannity Washington briefing with Karoline Leavitt, is White House press secretary, Karoline herself. You want to respond to that crazy montage?
I would love to, Sean. Clearly, the Democrats learned nothing from their devastating defeat on November 5th, because this is exactly what the American people voted for. President Trump campaigned alongside Elon Musk, and President Trump promised voters on the campaign that he was going to make our government more efficiency. He came up with the idea of DOGE, and he told everybody in the world he would be appointing Elon Musk to cut through the waste, fraud, and abuse that has plagued our federal government for far too long and has ripped off hardworking taxpayers. And I think it shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that that's what Elon is doing at the direction of President Trump. The only surprise here is the vast amount of waste, fraud, and abuse that we have uncovered, and we are just getting started. And the Democrats are so incredibly out of touch. If you look at the public polling, 56% of the public supports President Trump's freeze on foreign aid. The most recent CBS poll shows that the vast majority of Americans support what President Trump is doing. In fact, his favorability rating has never been higher. So while the Democrats continue to hoot and holler in the streets, acting completely deranged, President Trump and Elon Musk and our entire administration are going to continue to go line by line and treat this federal government like a business. Money in, money out. And what do we actually need to spend money on to advance America's interests? That is our goal here. That's all that's happening. Anything else is fear-mongering by the left because they don't have a real message and they're deranged. There's no other way to put it.
And you're right about the president's approval rating. 70% of people in that very poll you referenced say all the president's doing is what he promised. This is how the American people describe President Trump: tough, energetic, focused, effective, all of which is true. And now we find out that in spite of the president's executive action, that FEMA sent $59 million last week to pay for luxury New York City hotels, in spite of the order. What actions are available for the president at this point? We have Tom Homan on in a minute.
Well, I know that Secretary Noem and her team have confirmed that all those who were involved in hitting send on that $59 million payment against the president's executive orders and his agenda will be terminated. And I know Tom Homan, I'll let him speak on it, my dear colleague and friend, has very strong feelings about those who continue to leak information about ICE's deportation efforts. We are not going to allow rogue bureaucrats in this city to obstruct the will of the American people. Again, President Trump was elected on a mandate to implement the policies that he promised: mass deportations, cutting fraud and abuse out of our federal government, lowering inflation, and restoring peace around this world. And our entire team is focused on delivering on those priorities. President Trump is working at a breakneck speed, and there are obstructionists who are trying to block his agenda, but we are going to continue moving ahead, and anybody who tries to block the will of the American people will face consequences for that.
Well, let me go back to where I was with Eric Trump, and that is the Democrats, they want to double down on men and women's sports and protecting those unvetted Biden-Harris illegals in the country, including known terrorists, rapists, murderers, gang members, cartel members, which is insane. I scroll all of the billions of dollars in waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption. Then, you know, you want to talk about thievery. The people they're stealing from by abusing taxpayer money are the taxpayers. And if this is where the Democratic Party is, you couple that with who they elected the leadership of the DNC, how does that help them in the future? Is this the agenda they think the American people want?
I don't think it helps them at all. So I hope that they keep saying the things they are saying and protesting outside of these federal government buildings that have been, again, ripping off the American taxpayers. I mean, you had Senator Chris Coons, Democratic senator, actually defending sending millions of dollars to Iraq to fund a Sesame Street program. I bet you the vast majority of Americans don't want their tax dollars going to funding Sesame Street in Iraq. What does that do for hardworking American families who have been struggling with the cost of living because of the Biden-Harris administration. It does nothing. And President Trump is restoring common sense, not just to Washington, D.C., not just to the United States of America, but to the entire world. And you're already seeing the effects of that ring, and the American people are very happy with what President Trump is doing at that White House every single day.
How do you like your new friends in the media?
Well, I love my job very much, and I love speaking the truth. And I'll tell you, Sean, they are loving the access and the transparency that they are receiving from President Trump in our White House. He did another press conference in the Oval Office today. And even those that don't like him will tell you that they like the truth and the transparency. And it's a breath of fresh air after the past 4 years of lies from the previous administration.
All right, that's tonight's Hannity Washington briefing with the great Karoline Leavitt. Have fun with our friend. Tell them I said hi during the next briefing. Send my best regards to the people in the state-run legacy media mob.